Awesome. So welcome to Empowered Conversations with Dena, and I'm so excited to have my guest with me today, Dr. Davia Shepherd and Suzanne McCall joining us in this conversation on Zoom, and hopefully we'll see some people join us also live in Facebook group. So Dr. Davia Shepherd, first, thank you so much for being here. I wanted to share you are an international speaker, best-selling author, certified retreat leader, recovering researcher, and celebrating 2 decades in healthcare. And you are the creator of Ladies Power Lunch and also the author of a brand new book called Grow Smarter and Collaboration Secrets to Transform Your Income and Impact. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks so much, Dena. I'm so very grateful and so honored that you invited me to join your conversation today.
Wonderful. And Suzanne, thank you for being a part of the conversation. And I welcome you to unmute. And, we want you to be a part of this. So one thing that I want to start with is Dr. Davia, I just mentioned that you're the creator of Ladies Power Lunch. And for people who may not know what that is, can you tell us a little briefly about what Ladies Power Lunch is and what motivated you to create it?
Great question. Thanks for asking. And I'm going to answer the opposite way around. So
Sure.
I'm going to tell a little story because I feel like it informs what the Ladies Power Lunch is all about and really focuses on the fact that it's a movement. And you say that I started it, but really and truly, Dena, it was a collaborative effort, if you will. Why are you surprised? So here's the thing. I came into private practice at a time that it wasn't an ideal time. We were in an economic downturn. And I tell this story all the time. As a matter of fact, it's a story that I also tell in our new book, Grow Smarter. And basically, I was invited by my mentor to get out there and start networking. And here's the thing, if you've never networked before and you walk into a room of just strangers that you don't know, it can be challenging and it can be intimidating. But I had the good fortune of bumping into some really, truly heart-centered women. And so after a while and after getting to know each other, I invited just for 6 of us to go have lunch one day in a Ruby Tuesday. And yes, it was an intention for us all to share about our businesses. But what happened was that we formed friendships, and truly deep, lasting friendships led to us referring business back and forth right there at the table at lunch. It led to us helping each other with personal issues that had nothing to do with our businesses. You know what happens, Dena, when girls get together. We really, really
Absolutely.
solve the problems of the world. And so by the end of lunch, everybody was saying, oh my goodness, this is the best. This may be the best thing I have done networking in a really, really long time. How can we do this again? And so I'm a doer. And if somebody says we need to get something done, even though I have 500 things on my plate, I'm going to figure out a way to get it done. So my suggestion to everyone was, let's put it on the calendar. Let's meet the third Monday of every month. If you can come, great. If you can't make it, no big deal. We'll see you next time. And you're always welcome to bring a friend, because the spirit of this get together is us supporting each other, not because I expect you, Dena, to give me anything in return, but just to support each other because we're there and we can. And so it was out of that little get together, that little grouping of 6. I'm gonna say random, but I don't mean random in the sense of, oh, just some people that you pick up off the street, but random in terms of not really having businesses that are necessarily considered to be related to each other, but this grouping of women from various areas of life getting together and being able to support each other in this wonderful, wonderful way. And it's out of this that Ladies Power Lunch was born. And Ladies Power Lunch just has one rule, and the rule is we support each other. And if you can abide by that rule, then the door is wide open and you're welcome. That's the only barrier to entry.
And Suzanne, you are a member of Ladies Power Lunch. I would love to just hear from you briefly. What has been your experience with Ladies Power Lunch?
I have to say that from the minute I joined Ladies Power Lunch, I felt so welcomed and supported. And Dr. Davia, you immediately, everybody just reaches out to you. Anytime you show up, there's like a response and like inviting me to speak and to get involved. It's been great, very supportive. I've really loved it. Yeah. I'm so happy you did it, Dr. Davia.
I'm happy that you joined us. And
Yeah.
to be very, very honest, it's just like anything else. You get out of it what you put in. And so for those of our members who want to be really active, we welcome that. And for those of our members who just want to hang back and take a look at what's going on and to know that when they need us, that we're still there for them, we welcome that as well. Any level of participation that feels right for you that works for us.
And then you have also this connection with Ladies Power Lunch and your new book.
Yes, because
And
it one doesn't go without the other. They're
yes,
definitely hand in hand.
absolutely. So there is this beautiful connection with some ladies from Ladies Power Lunch and your new book, Grow Smarter. And we had called our talk today, Grow Smarter, Overwhelm to Abundance. And I wanted to kind of just ask you, and certainly open it up to anyone, is what does that mean to you? What does that look like? What is overwhelm to abundance?
I love that question so much, Dena, because it's something that I think as women, as caregivers, as caretakers, we tend to very often be taking care of everybody else, taking care of our families, taking care of our clients or our patients or whomever it is that we are here to serve. We're taking care of everybody. And very often we band about this term self-care, but are we really taking care also of ourselves and being sure that the things that we are committing to are things that are really allowing us to have that shift from being in overwhelm to actually having an abundance of whatever it is that we desire out of this lifetime, whether it's for me, an abundance of energy, really, really hold energy to be so precious to me. For some people, it might be an abundance of love, an abundance of friends, an abundance of finances, whatever it is that you need to be abundant in, whatever it is that is meaningful for you. How are you making sure that you're living every single day to invite that into your life? And so that's what that means to me.
Yes, absolutely. I can share what it means to me is, and I think it's different depending on what stage you are in your life and just where you are. For me right now, especially in the past few years, is when working by myself, it can be kind of overwhelming. And the abundance comes from the ability of thinking about collaborations and doing things with other people and not just working by myself. And to me, that brings so much. That brings fun, that taps into some passion. We like feed off of each other's energy, the creativity, and just, one thing that you've said a few times is 1 + 1 is greater than 3. And it's
Always.
so true. So for me, that is where I see my overwhelm to abundance. What about you, Suzanne? What comes up for you with that thought?
Well, what I'm here, what strikes me is what I've been thinking is I want to start really more practicing what I preach more. So self-care. I've been really focusing on that, wanting to have more energy, more positive energy. But when you combine that with the collaboration with people, it feels so exciting and powerful, and it doesn't feel overwhelming anymore. So I kind of like the idea of both of those things, the self-care and the collaboration, and how exciting that feels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think something that ties right in, and I just wanted to read a really quick passage from your book because I found this to kind of hit a chord with me. And Suzanne, I think it will with you too, because we are heart-centered people. And it's just a little clip, and it says, everyday heart-centered business people work so hard, and many struggle to achieve their financial goals. What if more of us embrace these principles, and those principles were of collaboration? What if more heart-centered entrepreneurs had more resources? It's time to step into the power of our passions and change the world. I get goosebumps when I read that.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting those words on
powerful.
paper.
Yeah, it's interesting. I keep reading little pieces of the book and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, I like this. And it's interesting that the words, they come back. I just got goosebumps as well. The truth is, I've had my own brush with overwhelm causing burnout. And I'm here to tell anybody who thinks that burnout's not a real thing, that it does exist. And those of us who know better are usually the ones that experience it the most and in a very, very profound way. And so there's really an opportunity for us to still achieve the things that we want in our lives, but there's a different way. And there's a way that, like you say, Dena, has more fun associated with it. And there's a way that has a lighter energy associated with it. And I have to admit, I don't know if I know you, Suzanne, and also you, Dena, when you're talking to your patients, that there are times when you're talking to them about things that you're also working on at the same time. I want to be very transparent here that these principles are principles that I work through every single day to make sure that, like you said, Suzanne, that I'm walking my talk, that I am actually living this grow smarter lifestyle, that I am not putting myself on track to be having burnout again. Because nobody needs that. No one at all. And it's really just 5 steps that I try to be sure that I'm incorporating with all the decisions that I have to make on a daily basis.
Yes. And we will get to those 5 steps because they're super important and such a huge part of an effective, good collaboration. And I'm just wondering, when I just read that passage, when we said step into your power and like you're bringing more to the world. And to me, I feel like that abundance in that space is for self and expansion of your gifts and your talents and what you can provide in terms of a collaborative effort. And I wanted to kind of ask each of you, is there, what have you found with a collaboration or collaborations that has allowed you to step into passion, but also expand to do so much more than the 1 + 1 = 2, but the 1 + 1 equals so much more?
Well, one thing I can say is that a classic example is
Mhm.
going back to this whole idea of ladies power lunch, because
Mm.
I my day job, the thing I do during the day when I'm not staying up late at night writing books and not hosting our Ladies Power Lunch fun activities, is basically treating with patience,
Mhm.
and so I never set out to start a movement for women who are just looking for a place to provide support for each other. That was never, ever on my agenda. It wasn't on my list of things to do. It wasn't in a bucket for my bucket list. None of those things. But the women, they came together and it was fun and it was just so affirming. It was so supportive, and it was a perfect opportunity of the energy being right and the energy guiding
Mhm.
the direction that needed to go. So I'd have to say everything that we end up doing with Ladies Power Lunch ends up being a collaborative effort, but even just the way it started, this collaboration.
And I just wanted to share that one of the LPL members, Hannah, just messaged on our Facebook Live and said, "I love Ladies Power Lunch. Dr. Davia is the best that happened to all members."
Oh, Hannah,
That's
thank
very
you.
beautiful. And Suzanne, any collaboration that comes to mind for you that has had that impact that was bigger than 1 + 1 = 2?
Well, I've done a lot of different collaborations, and some of them didn't really go well. But the one that I think was the most exciting, and that you were actually part of, Dena,
Oh,
most recently,
yay.
was
Yes.
the I just had this feeling of wanting to make my. It started out with my own me, with my needs, right? Make my work fun and get back the fun in my life. So I decided to create this. Retreat for therapists to inspire people who are out there speaking, getting their message out. And all of us, you and Shaniel, um,
Erica.
Erica, and who's the last? Anyway, we had so much fun, and it
We
was in
did.
total alignment
Yeah.
with who I am, what I wanted, what I needed. But it just drew all these other people in who were in the same place. And that felt like it culminated with much more than a 1 + 1.
Yes.
So it was exciting.
Absolutely.
Very exciting.
Absolutely. And this brings up a point that I wanted a short topic I wanted to talk about because it was in the book also. And I thought it was such a great thing because I never thought about it before, Dr. Davia. You mentioned about that collaboration starts, the thought of collaboration starts within the family. Never thought about that. And I wanted to bring up that whole idea of collaboration versus competition.
Yes, yes. Well, I have really, really wrapped my head around this idea of collaboration and what it really means. And I think, Susan, you mentioned that you've had collaborations that have gone well and you've had ones that have not. And I would suggest, I'm going to just put it out there and say that perhaps some of the things that you have had that have not gone well have not been true collaborations, perhaps,
Mm.
because, and I talk about that in the book as well, for something to be called a collaboration, a true collaboration, it has to have these three things. It has to have, wait for it, win, win, and win. So that means that you need to be winning and your collaboration partner needs to be winning. And the people who are benefiting from the work that you're putting out, they need to be winning too. And a lot of the times when we think about collaboration, we think about the times when we've worked together when it has not worked well, when it has not had those three things together. And I love to share the example of when I was in high school and even when I was in college doing group projects. Those are definitely not collaborations, but a lot of us think back to those things and use that to those bad experiences to prevent us from moving forward into collaboration. So one of the things that I try to teach my children is that the idea of collaboration, it starts in the home. And so all the things that we're doing with each other in our home life, are you winning? Is everybody else in the family winning? Are we really functioning together as a unit, or is everybody kind of off doing their own thing? And I think in the book, I talk a little bit also about how my family has been supportive of me, and I am in turn supportive of my family. So it's just it's like think of that infinity sign. It's just that flow of energy back and forth. But if you're not getting that energy flow, if there's an interruption somewhere, then we can't consider that to be a true collaboration.
And I love how you also pointed out, and it's so true, how our friends or family can be collaborative partners in our life or our business, because I have a spouse that's very collaborative in my life and business. So, and I'm very thankful for that, but it's so true. And I just thought it was so interesting that I wanted to bring it up about how what we learn sometimes from our families and within society growing up can lead to being open to collaboration or being more maybe in a place of mistrust of collaborations, or I got to crush other people. So therefore, I am not even entertaining collaboration. And
Well,
you
we've
talk
been
about
taught,
that so
yes.
well.
I think we need to remember that we've been taught crush the competition, and we've been taught that from perhaps infancy. I love to make the joke about the fact that you're born and the first thing that happens is a competition because your APGAR scores have to be at least as good as or better than that other baby down the hall, right? I mean, obviously not, but we're from day one, from moment go, we are taught that competition is the way to be. And I want to invite everybody to remember that competition is not a real thing. I mean, unless you know something that I don't, I'd love for somebody to pick up a collaboration and just competition and just show it to me, like how I'm showing you this phone. It's not a real thing. It's not a tangible object, but it is something that has been ingrained in us, Tina. It's been ingrained in us, Suzanne, for really all the years that we have, that you can think of. It's been a part of us. So it's something to be overcome, perhaps,
Yes.
but there is another way.
Yes.
And that way is going to perhaps for many of us require a mindset shift.
Yes.
But it's worth it because the benefits are so magnificent.
Absolutely. And it's about someone being able to go more inward and see what may be holding them back from being open to collaboration and working on that piece. And like you talk about, that transformation of that butterfly, there's some really icky, gross stuff that happens. It ain't all beautiful, but what can
Transformation
come
is
out
not
on the other
beautiful.
side? But what can come out on the other side?
Yes.
And that takes us to the 5 pillars in your book about what a successful collaboration really needs, what you have seen for yourself, and if you could share those 5 pillars with us today.
Absolutely. Dena, the intention is for everything I do in life, everything I share with patients, I share with Ladies Power Lunch, the objective is for us to live our optimal lives, for us to be living just the best, most full, rich, meaningful life that we can. And what I know is that these 5 principles, you can apply them to just about anything. You can apply them to your business, you can apply them to your relationship, whatever it is, you can do it. And basically, it's starting with asking, and no, I'm not sending anybody out to ask for collaborations. That's not it at all. But going within and spending some time to find out what it is that you want. What do you even want? What are your desires? What would you want out of a collaboration? What are your hard stops? What are your yeses and your nos? Because if you go into any anything that you're doing without knowing what those things are, then if you have no boundaries, then they can easily be crossed.
Right.
The second thing that I talk about is alignment, and talking about just the energy of the meeting of minds that is happening. You want to make sure that the values are aligned. You want to make sure that the communication is aligned. A lot of the times when people think about what goes wrong in a quote unquote collaboration, they point to a breakdown in communication. But sometimes if you look more deeply, you'll realize that the communication wasn't aligned. We could be having a conversation, Dena, and we think we're talking about the same thing, and we're absolutely having two monologues instead of a dialogue.
Yeah.
And so just making sure that there's that alignment, that trust, that openness in anything that we're doing, that's going to be important. Making sure that you're all in, and that the other person is also all in. And there have been times my intentions have been really, really good, but my available resources have not allowed me to be all in. That's just a fact of life. And a lot of the times when we see things that don't go the way we want to, we expect that it's the other person that wasn't all in, but sometimes it's me. Sometimes it's me, and making sure that I'm taking care of me being all in. That makes a huge, huge, huge difference. And then if the other person is doing it too, even better. I like to talk about step 4, which is assignment, because this is what prevents that burnout, right? You are amazing at what you do, Dena, and I'm amazing at what I do. And it's not necessary for me to try to do your job in our collaboration, and vice versa. Really figuring out who's good at what and having each person address what they're good at is always going to be important. And the last thing is to go ahead and take a look at the applications and the resources that are available to you, because here's another nugget. If you take nothing else away from this, I would say think about the last 2. Make sure everybody's working in their brilliance. Make sure everybody's working in their genius. Everybody's using their special talents. But me and you in a collaboration, Dena, there's some things that are beyond our brilliance. And it's okay to bring in resources from outside, to not try to do every single thing yourself.
Right.
Because that sets up resentment, and that sets up burnout for sure. And I find that when I approach a collaboration from those 5 angles, can't lose, can't fail. Every single time I do that, it's a win, win, win.
Awesome. So where can someone find this book? Or can someone get your book?
I wonder where. Might be at the end of the rainbow. No.
Well, it is like a pot of gold. So
it is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I have to say, Dena, can I just say one thing before I tell you where to find it? That this book was a collaborative effort. It really, really was. And I want to say thank you to you, Dena, for being part of Collaboration Conversations. This is a series of interviews that I set up ahead of bringing this book to the world, to interview people who have great experience and great knowledge with collaborations, and to bring their wisdom and to share it with everyone in this book format. So thank you for contributing your wisdom to what has become this book, Grow Smarter, which is available to everybody if you go to Grow Smarter, Not Harder, because we all want to work smarter, right? Grow Smarter, Not Harder.com. You'll be able to get our book, and I want it to be a win-win-win. So of course, if you get the book, I win. If somebody picks up the book, they get a bunch of bonuses. So in addition to getting the book, they win. And of course, we have it set up so that people who talk about our book will be able to also get a commission or affiliate, some sort of affiliate bonus for promoting our book. So all of that is available, and all you have to do is just go to growsmarternotharder.com and you'll see all the details about all of that.
Awesome. And then lastly is, where can someone learn more about how to get connected with you and Ladies Power Lunch?
I would send everybody over to growsmarternotharder.com, because
Okay.
also there, if you go ahead and put in your email address, you'll have an opportunity to become a part of our Ladies Power Lunch community. So it's all there. It's all in one place. You get the book, you get some freebies. If you want to be an affiliate, you can do that. If you want to join us at Ladies Power Lunch, it's all there at growsmarternotharder.com.
Awesome. Well, this has been such a pleasure, such a wonderful, empowered conversation. And I thank you for being here with me today. And I thank Suzanne for joining us, and Hannah over on Facebook. So I wish you a beautiful day, an empowered day. And definitely, I encourage everyone to go get the book. It's a wonderful read and has so many wonderful nuggets. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dena. Bye, everyone.
Bye.